Episode 3. Set in Spain this week. Mark Halsey.
He talks about it all, doesn't he? Grassroots, working his way up to, you know, his wife battling the illness.
Still thinking about the tugboat, mate. Tugboat. All right, Mark, we've heard you. You think I'm a fat fucker, right, Mark? All right, wait, tugboat, but no, has got everything, and obviously his illness as well as his wife's. And did you know? I never even realised you were refereeing the Man City playoff final.
He's on Gillingham's shit list. Andy called me Chris Smith, so he's on my shit list now. By the way, Johnny, Graham Wesley's been in touch. So he messaged us the day after Lady's release. How are you doing, Chris? I've just been sent your podcast involving Lady's outrageous portrayal of me. My lawyer is reviewing every word of the entire footage right now. 2 minutes later, I hope you read that message before I sent this follow-up. I'm only joking. On reflection, I'd enjoy putting the record straight on Lady's stories and having a bit of banter with you lads. I'll show you Parky's text too.
Oh,
So the top and bottom of it is, he's in the diary. He's coming on.
and he's a shit house.
Phil Brown were enough. And, stuff I do for this.
As locations go, number 1 coming in.
Is this your favourite?
Yeah. I've got my shoes off.
Christ, I thought your feet smelled.
Although it is a bit warm.
Look at it. Is it warm, John?
Turn the sun down a little bit, or what?
Just looking at his vest there, he's sweating like Marouane. He's never sweated like that on the pitch, did he? I used to call him Tugboat on the pitch. The size of it. Slowest centre forward going. Made a good living out of it, though, didn't he?
Do we call that and start again, yeah? Do they get many
But you're going
football
to take the
teams?
piss out of me, aren't you? I thought I'd get in first.
Do they get many football teams coming here?
Yeah, there's a few now. Sheffield Wednesday are out here.
I've just seen a busload of Gillingham fans turn up there. I don't know who they want.
Chris, don't go there, pal. Don't go there, please. I'm still getting stick now.
I bet, man.
Especially on Twitter. Oh, the shit I get out of them fans. Oh,
This is stemming
What a
from
day.
the League 2 playoff
what a day.
final.
What a day. But the night was even better. It wasn't my fault the Football League put me in the same hotel as Man City fans, was it? Would you believe? It was a great night. Would you believe we had to walk from our hotel to Wembley? Because we was at the Wembley Hilton. So we had to walk amongst all those fans. So after the game, I had to wait 4 or 5 hours to leave Wembley to walk back to the Hilton, just in case of running the Gillingham fans.
Did you not just get carried out by all Man City fans?
but the Gillingham fans were that end.
So what will they?
But to the Gillingham fans, listen, I apologise, okay? Please stop giving me shit on Twitter, please.
So what's
What's the
their
apology
issue?
for? Yeah.
Well, the issue was, obviously, it was 2-0 into the 89th minute. 5 minutes stoppage time put up by the fourth official. You know, the referee from Sheffield. Name had come to me. Anyway, fourth official. 5 minutes, played 5 minutes, obviously into the second minute. City get a goal, 2-1. A couple of minutes later, 2-2. To penalties. We know the story after
Nicky
that.
Weaver saves and does the
Yeah,
run.
Nicky Weaver does the run. While Nicky's running one way, I'm running down the south tunnel with all the Gillingham players chasing me.
Was it about 7
Pulis.
minutes then? 7 minutes?
Well, it was about 5. It was 5 minutes, but it should have been longer. But obviously, all the time wasting that was going on with goal scoring celebrations, cautions, substitutions. But as I say, City fans have got a lot to thank me for. Because look where they are now. They wouldn't be where they are now without me, would they?
And you are
And
still
do you know
getting
what? There should be a statue out of me outside the
Halsey, Dickov, Weaver.
Yeah.
But even like recently, wasn't it? Was it the Champions League final?
No, it was the semi-final, the first leg
Semi-final.
up in Madrid. I took me daughter and her boyfriend, obviously because he's Spanish, he's a Madrid fan. My daughter's been out in school here for several years, so she's fluent Spanish. And we agreed to, I got tickets. I know Gary Owen very well, so I got some tickets. Went up there, had a picture taken at the train station at Alicante on our way to Madrid. Being British, as you do, you always want the British
British
sides
team
to do well. So I just put a picture on, off up to Madrid to see Madrid, Man City. Come on, City! And then all of a sudden, ping, 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 ping. It went absolutely ballistic. The Gillingham fans, oh my God, wanted the FA to do an investigation. 24 years after the event.
To be fair, we've just been down to your house and there's loads of Man City flags out every
John, will you shut the fuck up?
There's actually a spray painting of Guardiola on one side of the house.
Wait, tugboat, shut up.
So they felt as though you played too much extra time.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. They've never let me forgive it.
Was that your first
forget it, I should say.
game at Wembley, League One
Yeah,
playoff?
that was
weren't it?
obviously, I think a couple of seasons on the Football League. That was my first game, obviously at the old Wembley. I mean, like players, I don't think you ever got there, did you, Tugboat?
3 times, mate.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Is that a red card for me, mate? So like every player you want as a referee, you want a referee. And I was lucky enough to referee at the old Wembley and the new Wembley. So it was great. It was brilliant.
How did you actually get into it? How did refereeing?
It's strange, actually, because I used to play, obviously, semi-professional football. We played, in those days, we played Saturdays with our semi-professional team, and on the Sunday in the Welling Hatfield area, the Sunday league was very strong. So we used to play with our mates on a Saturday with our, in our respective teams, and on the Sunday we'd all play for different teams and play against each other. And I was playing I used to play with a friend as a goalkeeper. He was a centre half. His name was Russell Foster. Sadly, we lost him in COVID. And he was a dirty bastard. I used to play behind him. When the referee's back was turned, he would give the old centre forward an elbow in the face, or he'd smack him in the face, or he'd kick him up the backside, and he'd become a referee. And I couldn't believe it. So a few years later, I mean, we remained good friends. He was a big Chelsea fan. I'm a QPR fan, and we used to go to games together. And I used to go and watch him referee. He used to referee me on a Sunday morning. And I love me cricket. I used to play league cricket for a team called Hatfield Hyde in the Welling Garden City area. And his house backed onto our garden. So as you do when you play cricket, you walk around, when you're batting, you walk around the boundary line, putting the world to rights. And he used to collar me every time. House, come on, why don't you take up refereeing? I said, Russ, do me a favour. I've got no fucking interest of being a referee. I do not want to be a referee. And he just kept on at me all season. And I had a few, all that summer, and I had a few injuries. I had a bad leg injury that was hospitalised me for 2 weeks. So I lost 5 teeth, as you can see, in an elbow incident. And I thought, you know what, I'm falling out of love with playing football. I might give it a try. So I said to Russ, listen, look, I know you have to do an 8-week course. I'm not doing an 8-week course. If I could just learn the laws of the game, take the exam, I'll give it a go. And with that, they let me do it. I took the exam and never looked back. I loved it. I loved every minute of it, from start to finish.
So that's the reason you were shite then as a ref, because you didn't do the 8-week course. 1-all.
Oh, Tugboat's getting his own. I think that's his new nickname from now on. Tugboat.
So straight away you just loved it.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I refereed in the Welling Hatfield Sunday League. All the guys knew me, and I think it helped me being a player to take that transition to being a referee. Don't mean to say all ex-players are going to be good referees. You've got to work at it the same way as you do as a player. And I mean, I loved it. First game, players loved it. No yellow cards, because I wasn't a referee that handed out yellow and red cards willy-nilly. I always gave players a chance, and I was still playing, because then I was playing for Welling Garden City, and I had to make that decision because I was going for promotion as a referee from 3 to 2, 2 to 1, as it was in them days. And then if you got a yellow card or sending off back in the day, if you were suspended from playing, you were suspended from refereeing as well. So I had to be very careful. Right. But then I didn't pick up many yellow cards as a player anyway. So
that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that it is. So that's the way it was. But so I had to make that decision whether do I stop playing full time and then take up refereeing full time. Yeah, take it seriously. So I enjoyed it, and then I sort of went into refereeing in the Hearts County League, the senior county league, where in the Premier League you run the line, and you referee in the reserve section. So I rapidly got my way up the ladder, and obviously it's helped me, and obviously I made a good living out of it, which was a bonus.
How long are you reffing before you got your first league game? Obviously, you're doing them Sunday.
That was right. Yeah. So obviously, that
leagues.
goes with your promotion. You get to Class 1, and then you put yourself, your marks from the clubs get you promoted to the next level. So the marks from the Senior County League got me an interview into the Ishmael League, as it was then, the Ryman's, I think it is now. And then obviously your marks got you then into the National League.
Is it season by season?
Season,
It was halfway through, he's doing well. We'll give him
it was
promotion.
then season by season, but now it could be fast track. It could be at Christmas time, half season, and put you up into the next level. So, yeah, I mean, I went from refereeing, without being assessed, being on club marks, because obviously you don't referee for the clubs, but you got to take the players' frustrations, the empathy for the game, and it's not always about the laws of the game. But once I made the Conference League, which is the National League now, you then got the Football League assessors assessing you, and Jesus Christ, I come down to earth with a bump when they started assessing me. I got absolutely annihilated by the assessors.
You think you're doing all right, and
you think you're doing all right, and something drops through your door. I mean, I think I had 3 letters to say, if I don't buck up my ideas, I'm off.
Was that on the decisions that you were making, or the other stuff?
I think what it is, it's the same. If people, they know you've been an ex-player, and they sort of want to keep your feet on the ground, or just keep you down a bit. Do you know what I mean? Because they think, he's an ex-player. He's come all the way through the ranks. We don't want him, coming through too quickly. So they sort of just, keep your feet on the ground and just hammer you one or two, once or twice. And then you sort of, you look, because I was always coming up through, I was always a players referee, always a players referee. And I think in my book, Jose Mourinho said I was the 23rd player on the pitch. But I mean, you guys know, I've refereed you two guys a few times. So yeah, I think I got that hammering was to try and change me from being a players referee to just being a referee. And that doesn't wash with me, to be fair.
I think Jeff said that, didn't he?
Yeah.
The powers that be didn't like the way he was, and it just...
If your face don't fit,
exactly,
it doesn't fit, I mean, people say to me, well, how comes Mark Halsey never refereed a cup final?
Yeah.
So, but listen, I mean, I went through refereeing. Listen, we're human. We all make mistakes. There were games where I was shite. I know that. But people always say, come out and say to me, Mark was one of the better referees, or Mark was a good referee. So that means more to me than refereeing a cup final. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what, though? It's nothing to do with the decisions for me. It's just being able to have a normal conversation, have a bit of crack with you.
Absolutely.
If somebody makes a bad decision, fair enough. You'll say that was shit.
Well, what have you experienced? What's the bad referee for you?
When you try and speak to them and then they give you one of them with the hands.
But you see that today. You see that today, don't you? And
exactly.
that really annoys me. It's important that referees have to engage with the players. You've got to engage with the players. You can't come across so arrogant. I mean, it's shop floor language goes on the field of play. He knows it, you know it. I mean, I've been told to fuck off many times. I remember Rio Ferdinand come running at me at Old Trafford, telling me to, I remember that, telling me to fuck off. And I just turned back and said, you fuck off.
Did he?
And he did, yeah. He did. I think he was so surprised. But it's not foul and abuse or insulting language. It's shop floor language. You hear far worse coming from youngsters out on the street or even in a crowd, don't you? So you've got to have that. As long as it's not using the language at you, and it's in the context of what's going on in the game.
What was the main
10
difference?
feet told me after that. If I told Rio Ferdinand fuck off, and he did.
But that's what happens, and all the good referees use shop floor language, because if you look at that, it's the workplace. It's the workplace. You're going out for 90 minutes. That is the shop floor. That's the workplace.
What was the main difference as you worked your way up through the leagues, dealing with the players at that level?
I mean, I didn't find a problem with the player. I think that the worst thing, not the worst thing, but I think the thing that was, what you say, was the media, the spotlight. Sky Sports, BT Sports, all the the media and the press. I think that was more because we weren't trained to deal with the press, and you can come out and you say things like you just come out with one liners and they turn it into a
conspiracy,
a story, and you think, why have I said that? Because I think if you get that media training, then you know you're thinking about what to say, what not to say. And to be
But
fair,
then you can't be you, can you?
No, I know. But then but then the media jump on things, don't they? And everybody that reads the media takes that as gospel, don't they?
Yeah.
They take that's gospel. Yeah, social media for me today is just so volatile, isn't it? So and we're seeing all these mental health issues that we're seeing today, and I think it comes a lot of it from social media.
Yeah. Was the dream always, you had 4 or 5 years in the Football League, we were always looking to get up to the Premier League?
Yeah, I said to myself, as I was coming through park football, grassroots football, that if I don't progress, then I just go back. Because I thought to myself, would I want to go into management or coaching? And I thought I'd give something back this way as a referee that understands the game. Because it's not always about the laws of the game; it's about, do you understand the game of football? So I think for me that was what meant more to me than anything else.
Was it always important for you to have a bit of crack with the players and get on the level?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Always, for me, as I said, I was a players' referee. I always remember refereeing at the Etihad, Man City, Chelsea. And I sent John Terry off in that game, second half, and he weren't happy. As players are not happy. And I remember him coming in the dressing room after the game, sitting there for about 15 minutes arguing his case, and I was arguing my case. We agreed to disagree. Eventually, he went out. So I think it's vital to have that conversation. And I always remember the following week, because he won his appeal, I was sent to fucking Carlisle, wasn't I? So I goes up to Carlisle, and I treat every game the same. As referee, I can't remember who the away team was, but I remember giving a free kick against Carlisle, and a fucking one of the, I can't remember, I think it was Danny Livesey. I can't remember the player's name, but I was saying, they never stop fucking moaning at me. And I said, for God's sake, I said, you're worse than my missus, and I fucking divorced her. He said, I know, I've been shagging her. Do you know what? You'll do for me. You'll do for me. You'll do for me, pal. But that's the sort of crack you can have on a pitch, and you got to take that. And I took that because I thought it was funny. I pissed myself. He said to me, why was you laughing at that incident? And I told him, and he cracked up in the dressing room afterwards as well. So, yeah, listen, you have those sort of things. But with John, every time John, because he was the captain, he'd come in with the manager, with the team sheets. And because I knew what he'd be like on the pitch. So every time he'd come in the dressing room, I never used to say much, because players don't like coming into the dressing room with the manager, and some referees go on and on and on and on. Because I'm Forfeiture, I think, for fuck's sake, why stop? They don't want to listen to you. Just fucking, just say hello, pleasantries, and out you go. And he used to come in, I used to smack him around the face. He said, why do you always smack me around the face? I said, because I can't fucking do it out there.
Get one in there.
Would that be a kick in the bollocks to you? You send someone off and it gets reversed.
Yeah, listen, you do your job on the day, and if I mean, I knew why he got it off, because I worded my report wrong, and that's why. So I learned from that, and I was told the reason he got off it because of my report, my words in my report. So I learned from that. So like as a referee, like with players, you learn something every game, and I was still learning, right the way up to my last game.
So you refereed my game at Donny against Mansfield in League 2. This is 2003. Would that have been because you've had another off day the week before? And got...
No. Sometimes, I mean, to be honest, I prefer. I think every team, professional team, deserves best referees, whether it be the Premier League or League 2. And I always used to give it my all. I always felt more under pressure in League 1 or League 2, because they know you're a Premier League referee and they expect more, because you even see now, I look at some League 1, League 2 guys. My nephew, George Miller, plays
Doncaster,
for Donny, and he tells me he's the referee, and Uncle Mark is abysmal at this level. And I always thought to myself, this potential banana skin. So I always went out there and treated the game as though it was a cup final. Every game was a cup final, because the last thing you wanted was from the crowd singing Premier League, you're having a laugh. And that's what you didn't want, did you, as a referee? The teams get it, Premier League, you're having a laugh, and the referee got it as well. So I always felt that it was important to go out there and referee to the best of your ability. But they did used to send, for big games, They used to send top big referees. I remember going to Wrexham and Boston. Whoever won that, it was the final day of the season. Whoever won that game got relegated. And that was a massive, massive game. Massive game.
Would you feel more pressure for what it meant to them clubs?
Yeah, obviously you want to go out and do well. And I remember, the Boston manager's now at Stevenage, Stevie Evans. Oh, Jesus Christ. Boston went 1-0 up, and I awarded a second. I awarded a penalty to Wrexham, made it 1-1. It was a clear penalty, and he was going absolutely ballistic on the touchline. I just went over, hey, Steve, shut the fuck up. It's a penalty, okay? And he was fine, and he was fine. And we had a little bit of a set to in the tunnel after the game, not when we all changed and coming out the bar, and then we had a cuddle and it was like that, but we had a cuddle and saying good luck for the future. And to be fair, wherever he's gone, he's done really well. I mean, he's another man that wears his heart on the sleeve, and
understand that.
I'd rather people like him than other people that sort of put a knife in your back and stab you. But there's plenty of managers that are good people. I mean, what they do is, I get on well with all the people, and it doesn't cost you anything to be pleasant and smile with people. As I say, I've got many friends in football, managers, players, but once you cross that white line, they know what they're getting from Mark Halsey.
Yeah.
I always remember walking out refereeing. I was at Stoke City, and walking out for a warm up. Kenwyn Jones. I walked out with Kenwyn Jones, and he put his arm around me. He went, Mark, fucking, when we saw you were refereeing, we thought, oh, thank God for that, because we thought we had that twat Lee Mason today. I went, oi, he's my mate. Don't say that.
I know you said you like to have the crack and that with the players. Which players push your buttons? Maybe too much, too far where you thought, come on, mate.
Well, listen, you've got your regulars. I mean, Craig Bellamy was a one. He was a pain in the arse to referee. You know what Craig's like. But off the pitch, they're great. I mean, I've worked with him out in Doha. He's great. Reminiscences with him. So, people like Danny Mills as well. I mean, always in your ear. Always in your ear. Always. When he went to Man City, he was brilliant with me. Brilliant with me. It was warm. He was in the tunnel. I think it was first or second game of the season. I think when he went from Middlesbrough to Man City, and he came up to me and said, "I've been told I've got to be nice to you today because you're a City fan." So I just laughed, and first minute into the game, because normally Danny, as soon as you give him a free kick, he's at you straight away, effing and jeffing. And you just say do the same back. But this day at Man City, I give a free kick against him. He didn't say nothing. I thought, fucking hell, Danny, you okay? He said, no, I've got to be good to you today. So I've been told by the manager, I've got to be good to you today. So with that, after the game, he come up to me. I won 4-0. He says, you are a City fan, aren't you?
What was the crack with Bellamy? Didn't he say something to you, similar to the story you just said about getting divorced?
Actually, when he left Liverpool, went to Cardiff, didn't he? And he was, I remember refereeing him playing for Liverpool against Norwich. I think, was it Suarez, Lewis? They won 3-0. And he scored a goal from the halfway line. I was the referee. And it was from a Norwich corner. So the corner's come over and the ball's been kicked straight up to him. I'm on the 18-yard. I've gone, oh, for fuck's sake, I've got to get on your fucking bike, Mark. And then all two tugboats together, that game. So then he's hit this ball from the half line. I went, oh, God, I ain't got to run any further. And it's gone straight in the back of the net. What a goal. I think Alonso done it as well when I was refereeing at Liverpool-Newcastle. He done it from the halfway line straight in the back of the net. And he's got a hat-trick and he's been substituted. And I thought, what a player. And Bellamy's come up to me. Don't you disrespect players like him? I went, what are you fucking on about? I haven't disrespected anybody. Fuck off.
Why was he saying you disrespected?
I ain't got Scooby-Doo. To this day, I don't know. Anyway, so coming back to that story, he'd left Liverpool and I thought, oh, great, we won't have to bother with him next season. He ain't gonna be there at all. So I think second game of the season in the Championship, where did I get sent? Brighton, Cardiff. And who's playing? Bellas. Oh, listen, great lad. He's a great lad. You want that sort of banter on the field of play. So I remember him. I give a free kick. I went, Jesus. I said the same thing. Stop going on. Oh, yeah, my first miss was like that, and I've divorced her now. And he went, Mark, can you give me any advice? I'm going through the same situation. Can you help me? I said, Craig, all I can say is that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, pal? And with that, he went, cheers, pal, and he started having a go at me again.
He's asking you for some marital advice.
Yeah, it's great, yeah. Listen, the same with Danny. They're all players will do what they can to get what they can out of referees, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because you couldn't get there, you just went down, didn't you? And you can get a free kick. But
would you have any chats with like referee or player, manager or players beforehand, and then you kind of come away from it and you're thinking, he's trying to bottom me up there?
No, I mean, players knew what I was like when what I was like. You know, they knew what they'd get. They knew I'd be fair. They knew I was firm but fair. See it as it was. And I used to say in the dressing room when the managers and the captains come in with the team sheets, I just used to say, listen, you know what I'm about, lads. Go out there, enjoy it and play with a smile on your face. Go on, now fuck off, enjoy. Yeah. And that's all I used to do. And you can't, if you go in, if you get the guys in the dressing room, you start dictating, and you do this, I'm going to do this, you do that, I'm going to caution you, I'm going to send you off. Or you can't say that, because first thing you go out there and they do that, and the captain says, well, hang on, what you said in dressing room, if someone done that, you'd send them off. So you've got to be careful what you say as well. So, but there were some players that, you know, I used to have banter with, and all of a sudden they'd say, don't fucking talk to me. I don't want you. Okay, fine, no problem. I'm going to talk to you. So then you go into the game, something had happened, and said, Mark, why don't you fucking talk? I said, well, you just fucking told me not to talk to you. What do you want? You can't have it both ways. So, you know.
Strange animals, football, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Strange
and
animal.
I think it helped me really at Bolton Wanderers with Big Sam and people like Kevin Nolan and the players at Bolton. So
subconsciously.
Because what happens in training exactly happens on a Saturday afternoon, the 90 minutes. No different, is it? I used to referee the 8v8s, 11v11s at Bolton and in the training games. And Jesus, some of the shit they used to give me in that, and especially Paul Robinson, who was at Bolton as well. God, they want everything. They want everything their ways, you know.
Yeah. Do you know, subconsciously, before a game, if a player walks past, he's like, hey, Mark, how you doing? Are you all right? Family all right? And this and that. Is it one of them where you think, he's all right, him? You know, if there was a decision there where it could have been, you can have one or two.
That's got to be only human, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember refereeing Stoke Everton, and I mean, it was in the days when was it when I come back from my illness? I can't remember if it was after 2010 or just before, but it was Stoke v Everton and Fellaini. I mean, Keith Hackett was my manager up from when we started up until 2010, 11 when we retired. But Keith was a fantastic manager, absolutely great, fantastic referee and a brilliant manager. But I remember I was refereeing Stoke v Everton. Second half, Shawcross and Fellaini were at it all game. So the corner comes over and Fellaini headbutts Shawcross. I mean, it's impossible for me to see. It's behind me back.
Especially with that.
Yeah.
Afro, you think you'd do it, wouldn't you?
So with that, Ryan Shaw's come to me and said to me, Mark, he's done me. I said, he's done me. I said, listen, Ryan, if he's done you, I apologise. I haven't seen it. It's behind my back. I said, but it'll get picked up on camera and he'll have a retrospective ban. And he did. You know, it was clearly no one saw it. No one saw it. Not even my assessor. We didn't even speak about it after the game. It wasn't until it was flagged up on Match of Day on Saturday night. Of course, he got his free match ban. I remember when I saw it, I went because I got on well with Moisey. Moisey used to ring me. I used to ring Moisey. After games, I used to say, I rang him up. I went, David. I went, fucking Fellaini's let me down big time. Big time. He said, Mark, I know he has. He said, I apologise to you. I'm going to be sorting him out. But I thought you'd done well today. And I think you've got that, and you've got to have that relationship. You've still got to have that, even though, it's not you're not coming across as you're doing anyone favours or anything, or you shouldn't be patronised. You said, I'm nice. I'm a nice guy. But on the field of play, when I cross that white line, I'm refereeing two teams. And I remember refereeing. I think I refereed them 4 or 5 weeks later. It was Man United Everton, so Fellaini was playing. So I went up to before the kickoff. Fellaini was just on the centre circle. So I went up to him and I went, "Don't you be doing any fucking thing today like you done at fucking Stoke?" I said, "Because I'll be watching you fucking like a hawk." So don't you do anything. You do anything, and I said, I'll have you fucking off. That's what I said to him. He said, no, Mark, you won't have any problems from me. So with that, Leon Osman heard what I said to him, and Leon come around. He said, you can't say that. I said, I fucking can say that, and I've just have said it. I said, you know what he done at Stoke. Fucking let me down big time. Makes me look stupid because I've not seen it. He went, okay, Mark, no problem. With that game, Fellaini was as good as gold. As good as gold. So, do you know what I mean? It does work, and you have to.
Did you actually feel let down by him?
I did, yeah, because it was a great game. It was an end-to-end game, and we we're football fans as well. We when we referee, and you think, Jesus, what a pass that was! And I used to say, "Oh, great pass!" Sometimes used to run behind the player, going, "Shoot!"
Especially if you're refereeing Man City.
Man on! But so because we are football fans, we are football lovers. We do love football. So I think it was important to have that engagement with players, and I always used to have that engagement.
And I suppose you've had that conversation with him beforehand, like you said before. Go out there and enjoy it. You know what I'm about. He's stuck the nut on, knowing that you can't see.
I always used to run around. You always had to keep your eye on players, off the ball, watching what was going on, having an awareness about you, around you, what was going on around you. I used to referee, players, top players, like Steven Gerrard and Scholesy and David Beckham, Ronaldo. I remember refereeing Ronaldo, Liverpool, Man United. That was a game I went to toss the coin up. I went into my pocket, get the teams to centre circle. Fuck. Where's my whistle? I left me fucking whistle in the change room, didn't I? So I had to shout out to Dowdy. Phil Dowd was with me. I said, Dowdy, I ain't got my whistle. Quick, hurry up, nip me in the change room, get me whistle. But it gave me the choice. So I walked over to get me. I let him have a little bit of a warm up. Walked over to get me to whistle, and Cristiano Ronaldo was standing. I went. It was the time he come to the UK, and he was lots of going down easy. Weren't there? So I just said to him, Christian, don't you be going down easy today because you'll get absolutely fuck all out of me. No. Don't be doing that today. So anyway, first minute, game kicks off, he goes down. I went past him, what did I fucking say to you? He looks at me and smiled, but he didn't do it again. So
that's fair enough, isn't it?
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
And that's an understanding of the players as well. He did go down, didn't he?
It's understanding players' frustrations. It's understanding, showing empathy for the game. And it always worked for me. I whatever level I refereed at, I was the same. All the way through. And it worked for me. Don't mean to say it's going to work for somebody else.
What's the best tunnel tear-up you've seen?
Best tunnel tear-up I've seen between me and Ashley Cole, Birmingham, Chelsea. I wanted to fucking...
So you were involved in it?
I wasn't expecting that.
It was funny because going back to the Craig Bellamy story. I refereed Vincent Kompany's testimonial at the Etihad. And
of course you did.
So anyway,
get the boys back together.
Get the boys. So Nicky Butt obviously on one team, Craig Bellamy on the other team. So anyway, Craig Bellamy was substitute. So he comes on. So he comes straight on, Craig being Craig, comes straight for me and has a fucking go at me. I'm thinking, what have I done? What have I done? He just absolutely tore into me. For some reason. Testimonial, yeah, Vincent Kompany's, but that's the way he played. So Nicky Butt, because didn't get on very well, did they? So Nicky Butt's heard this, and Nicky's come up to me. He says, Mark, do you want me to do them for you? I went, do you know what? I'll give you one challenge. So Nicky Butt's gone, right, Mark. Okay. So about a couple of minutes later, Bellamy's got the ball. So Nicky's come behind, he's gone fucking whack right from behind. He's put him up in the air and had to call the trainer on. So I've had to go, brought him up. Nicky, come in here. Hey. Fucking well done, but no more. Okay. That's your one. That's why he said, no problem, Mark. So everyone thought I was giving him a bollocking.
That's one, son.
In a testimonial.
Yeah.
Well, you've said that before, though.
So
when he's playing in testimonials.
I played in Kevin McNaughton's testimonial down at Cardiff, and we got to the game.
Back in the day, that?
So, I can't remember, it was 2016 maybe?
That's all right, yeah.
So I play with Bellas at Cardiff. So we get right, you're in team A, you're in team B. And Bellas must have been in team B. So he's come into team A's dressing room and gone absolutely fucking apeshit at Kevin McNaughton. have you seen my fucking team? How the fucking hell are we supposed to win this game with them? People who paid like whatever to play in it, he was furious. Like, Bella's his testimonial. Not on, Kev. I'm not fucking happy.
What was the crack with Ashley Cole?
Yeah. It was just come back. I've just come back from battling cancer, and it was Birmingham, Chelsea. And it was the first half. I don't know what happened. I give a few decisions against Ashley, but listen, great player. And we were talking about he was playing in that testimonial. So he come up to me and said, "Do you remember the bust up we had in the tower?" Fucking hell, do I remember it? I wanted to fucking lump you. But it was something had happened, and you've played at Birmingham, haven't you? You go into the tunnel at the corner, and you got that long walk all the way down. The home team is right at the top, and the away team is right down the bottom of it. And we were walking all the way down it. He was effing at me, effing and jeffing, and I was effing and jeffing at him. Just because I give something and he didn't like, I can't remember what exactly it was, but he weren't happy with me. And in the end, we got because you got the referee's dressing room and then the Birmingham's dressing room, and then we had we were hammering tongs at each other, and I went like that, and my guy said, get back in, threw me in the dressing room, and they went, "Mark, what the fucking hell are you doing?" I know, I've just lost it. And I'm thinking, he's talking to me like that, I fucking nearly died, and he's having a go at me like that. And but I shouldn't have brought that into it, do you know what I mean? And then we went out second half, he came up to me, give us a hug, I'll give him a hug, and I apologised, and that was it. We got on with it, So it nearly ended up in.
So you nearly twatted Ashley Cole.
Yeah, he remembers that because he came up to me at the hotel. So, but no, it's one of those things. And after that, we shook hands, and it's the heat of the battle, isn't it? It's the heat of the battle because you're in a battle. You know that you've all been in those sort of games.
Do you know with you being I'm assuming that you have to say I'm a QPR fan when you.
Yes.
What stage? When you're a football league manager, and then you're not allowed to ref QPR, I'm assuming.
I think it came into sort of come in really in the 2000s, isn't it? About that refereeing. I mean, listen, my family grew up around Shepherd's Bush, East Acton. My uncle. I remember my first professional game I went to. My uncle lived in Loftus Road. We come out of his house straight into the ground. So I've always loved QPR. Always been a QPR fan. I followed them through and through. I think it was 1996, 7 or 7, 8, 98, 97 season that I got appointed to QPR Portsmouth. Now, I lived 40 odd miles away, so, I thought to myself, listen, I went there many times, I'd love to go there as a referee. I mean, the QPR's referees' dressing room's fucking awful. You can't even swing a cat in that dressing room for referees. But it was one of those where, I mean, obviously it was a good game.
So you did the game?
I refereed the game. Obviously, once you cross that white line, I'm not a QPR fan. You referee what's in front of you, and it was an excellent game. You got assessors in the stand. You got everybody watching the game. So, but the only thing was, QPR won 1-0 that day, and I think it was Spencer. Spencer was the goal scorer, and I was just inside the penalty area when he put the ball back in, and I went, "Oh no, Mark, you can't go into one of the celebrations." Yeah, and then the second time I refereed an FA Cup tie at Loftus Road, third round, against Huddersfield, and Huddersfield won 1-0. So it was,
so balanced out.
Yeah, listen, it was. After that, then I thought to myself, it started getting quite serious then, didn't it? Back after in the end of the 90s and then into 2001, 2, then it started getting serious about who, your team you support. And they used to come and say, what team do you support? And I said QPR because I can't go to QPR. I mean, before that, before I got on as a referee, I was on the line for one season on the Premier League, 94, 95. And I was appointed to... I was the assistant referee at QPR Man United. It's when QPR were fighting for survival, and QPR were winning 1-0. And then all of a sudden, Robbie Hart was the referee, and all of a sudden he's put up 9 minutes. 9 minutes, right? Yeah. And I'm on the assistant
side.
Hold it more than
upside down. 6.
I'm on the assistant side, and that. Man United were attacking, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, Robbie, where have you got 9 minutes from? And within that 9 minutes, the Cantona's made a run through. Listen, it was tight, but I thought he was onside, and he's put the ball in the back of net, 1-1-all. And then obviously that was in about the 97th minute. And of course, when Robbie's blown the final whistle, the crowd have gone ballistic. And then we've had to have a police escort out of our change room because the manager, the players wanted us. The fans wanted us, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, that's how a QPR fan does it like me. But it just goes to show that you cannot question the integrity of a referee because once you cross that white line, it's two teams.
You must have had a twitch.
No.
You must have had a twitch on Eric.
No. Do you know what? Yeah, I did. I didn't. To be fair,
Who's your favourite members of the Red Wine Club?
Us. There was myself, Pete Walton. When we used to stay together, and we used to, this was when we moved to St George's.
What
Park.
actually happens? You all get together.
Yeah, we all get together. We have
all the referees. How often?
It was every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, we spent 2 days. Used to spend arrive lunchtime. Used to go do our training sessions, our high intensity running on the Tuesday afternoon. Look at videos after that, and then
critique each other.
Critique each other, and then we used to just descend into the bar. I mean, obviously, it's like every workplace. You don't get on with everybody, but I used to share a room in the later stages with Pete Walton. Me and Pete are good mates, and he's just texted me today about a thing in the Daily Mail where. He said he's been axed, but he hadn't been. But that's another story. But we used to share a room. I had bottles of wine in. Bring bottles of wine in because people used to drink in the bar. We didn't want to see people seeing us drink in the bar. When we're out there training. You know what happens when people
on a work trip.
Yeah, on a work trip, especially looking at you. Old Tugboat's had a few bottles, hasn't he? But so we used to. So we about six or seven of us used to go come into our room. And we used to sit there, put the world to rights, talk about things, and drink our wine.
So was there a divide then?
There's always a little. There's always divides, isn't there? Amongst you, you'd have it in your dressing room. You'd always have your little cliques, wouldn't you? In dressing rooms, and it was no different with referees.
Yeah.
But we used to have a good time. We used to have fun. But we were sensible. We weren't. Listen, we're humans, because we're referees, don't we say, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't go out and enjoy himself like I did at, going back to the playoff final. Yeah, I was drinking after the playoff final in the bar, having fun with the City fans, but they were in there and we were in there having dinner, so we're human.
Yeah.
We're human. So
I'm embracing that moment as well.
But
I'm shut off on bar. You not. Cheers, I'll cheer up.
Yeah, come on.
We're making
cheers,
the most of this.
But let's just say, we used to have a few of us used to go in there, myself, Wally, Clattenburg, Howard,
Jeffrey? Jefford?
No, Jeff had finished. We used to when we was at Staverton, but Jeff had finished and retired. So there was some we didn't because they were in the general manager's pocket, so we had to be careful. There was a mole, and obviously it got back to. But listen, that's the way it is, isn't it?
Did you have a game? Would you have a kickabout?
We did. Yeah, we always after training we always had a kickabout.
You in sticks?
I was in sticks. I played in goal.
Yeah.
So it was quite physical.
Worst?
It was worst.
Yeah. Last pick.
Yeah.
Kez.
It was. I mean, Mike Riley never joined in. He never played. He used to train on his own.
Is he a bigger twat as what everybody makes out?
Who's that?
Riley.
I'm saying nothing. I think who was the most dirtiest player? I'm just trying to think. It was like who was the dirtiest player who used to? I don't know. Jeff. Howard, he could be quite physical. Alan Wiley, Alan was good. But Alan was physical. Anyone come near me, I was quite physical. As Jeff most probably told you before his cup final, I took him out.
Did you nearly put Jeff out at the cup final?
I did,
Is that
yes.
right?
I did, yes, because I didn't want him refereeing it. Jeff, I'm only joking.
You thought you were best for everybody involved.
Jeff, I love you, mate. I love you. No, but Jeff was he was a good man. Jeff, great crack. Weren't afraid to say it as it was. Like myself, I think you got to wear your heart on your sleeve and say it as it is.
Why did he nearly miss the final?
Because I took him out in a game.
In a referee's game?
Yeah, in a referee's game. Yeah, it was a total accident. I couldn't apologise enough, but we had to carry him off to the room, get ice on him, and make sure he was fit for that cup final.
Was that your proudest moment, the League Cup final?
Yeah, it was. It was, obviously to referee me first. Obviously, you go to Man City and the Gillingham game, which was awesome. But Gillingham fans forget that I should have given a penalty to Man City after about 5 or 6 minutes for an handball. I wasn't too sure, so I didn't give it. But watching back, City could have gone 1-0 up. Anyway, so Gills, stop having a go at me. But going back to that, it was a fantastic weekend. That Chelsea Tottenham, extra time. Blowing out my arse like you were tugboat in some of your games.
To get your family down and make it a proper thing.
Family down. Yeah, we had a great weekend. Peter Wharton was my fourth official. Great weekend for the family. Excellent game. Really enjoyed it. No controversy, and that's what you want as a referee. You want to come out of the game with no controversy. Penalty for Tottenham for handball. Which was a penalty. Assistant flagged it for me, which was a clear penalty. Handballed it twice, but it just goes so quick. You're there, you start the game, because that first decision gives you that confidence. If you get that first decision right, whether it's a goal kick, tight cut corner, or a free kick, your stature goes like you. If you make a great pass or you score a goal, you just confidence just goes up, doesn't it? And someone said to me, Mark, take the moments in, because it just goes so quickly. And it did. Before I knew it, the game was over and we were showering and going back to the hotel and going for dinner.
Is it much different on the FIFA trips, the international games?
What do you have to do to get that call up?
It comes over a number of seasons, a number of games. You have to earn that. You have to earn that badge as a referee to represent. It's like any player that represents his country. It's no different for referees, and it's nice to get be awarded a cap. Got a cap, yeah, fantastic, yeah. That's pride and joy, really. But yeah, you're representing your country, so you've got to behave. You've got to behave yourself, and on the trips, obviously you'd do the game, and then all four of you would, after the game, you'd be taken out to dinner, and all four of you would go back into the room and talk about the game, have a few beers, because you couldn't sleep because your adrenaline was running. It was so difficult to sleep that night. Even when I refereed any game, I couldn't sleep. Always had 3 hours kit before the game, and then after the game, I just could never, ever sleep, because the adrenaline's going and you're always thinking about what's going on. And normally you're up early the next day to fly back to the UK.
Are you always as an English collective?
Always English. Yeah, always English.
Yeah.
Before VAR, obviously, it was always the four of you.
Yeah.
I always remember walking on a British Airways flight going somewhere, and the four of us with our 3 lions, badges, and the cabin crew girl come up and says, "Oh, you a boy band, are you?" I said, "Far from it, love. Far from it." We started singing for her. She said, "No, you're not a boy band."
That says your first game was Belgium-France. Was the language a problem?
No, everyone spoke English. Everyone understood English.
Was there any games that were?
No, everyone understood English. I remember that game well. I mean, refereeing Zinedine Zidane, what a player! Oh, you're just in awe, and watching him, the time he had on the ball, what he done with the ball, and his movement was just second to none.
Were the moments where you just
pinch yourself?
Oh shit! I'm reffing here. Imagine if I'm on field.
To be fair,
Zidane's pinging it around. I'm just like,
it's just another game with different surrounds.
Yeah.
It's just another game, different level. But yeah, listen, when you're out on the field, I remember refereeing Newcastle Everton, that 25-30 yard strike from Alan Shearer that got them the winner. I was right behind that, and I could see it straight. I went, "That's a goal. That's a goal." And I just said in mind, "That's a goal," and it went straight into the top corner. What a goal that was! And I remember going up to him and shaking his hand and saying, "Al, that was a great goal. Brilliant goal."
Did you remember my goal against Mansfield in 2003?
I don't even remember the fucking game. Sorry, Chris.
Story of my life, that.
No, but I mean, that Donny Mansfield game was a tough game, because they don't like each other, do they? Donny and Mansfield, not too far apart, are they?
Bit of a derby.
Bit of a derby. So they're always tough games. Always tough games. I remember refereeing a Europa League game in Sweden. Forgot to take the red cards out with me, so I had a caution. I think it was a Sampdoria player. I think it was playing Sampdoria out in I think it was Gothenburg. And I thought, so this challenge has gone. I thought, I got a caution. This is a caution. So I've gone. Get him. fuck's sake, where's my car? I got my car. I just went bang and put it back in the way to go. And he says I didn't even notice, so I got away with it.
Oh, so you gave him a red card for yellow card?
Yellow card. It was a yellow card, bang, away you go. And no one even noticed I didn't show the yellow card. I just went up like that. And he walks away, no problem.
Well, I'm thinking, I don't know if I've been booked here or not.
Yeah.
Is there any occasions where you can remember when you thought, I'm losing control of this, are you?
Not losing control. I never lost. I never ever lost control of a game. But there were a couple of games. I remember going away on a trip, a Europa League game, early September, and I came back. I mean, they're tiring trips. You know, it's just like Blaze. You do get tired. You are fatigued. And I was pointing to referee Fulham Arsenal on the Saturday. I come back on Thursday. Because it was doing that, they used to have the Wednesday games as well as on the Europa League games on a Wednesday as well sometimes. And I refereed Fulham Arsenal and I didn't feel right. I felt a bit lethargic. I felt a bit ill. And I thought, do you know what? I was there, so I went and done it. And I shouldn't have done because I was... If I looked over my career, that was one of the games where I was absolutely piss poor. I wasn't a Premier League referee. I was shocking, and rightly got absolutely annihilated by my assessor. So I apologise for Fulham fans for that game, but I wasn't. And yeah, it happens. And there was another game where I refereed Wigan Newcastle live on TV. There was a poor challenge by McManaman on, I think it was Herrera, the Newcastle winger. But as the challenge went in, a player ran straight in front of me, so I didn't see the entirety of the challenge. So it looked like the ball was just coming away, and no one said anything. No one said anything. No one. Nothing. And that's where you thought I wish VAR was in because it was 2 red cards. When I saw it back on TV, it was an awful challenge, poor challenge, and I missed it. And the reason why I missed it, and then what you're doing is you're reviewing your performance. You're thinking, what could I have done? What could I have done to see that, to stop that player running in front of me so I didn't see it? Should I have moved wider? Should I have gone, moved either side? So there was 2 games there that I thought myself, there was things that I missed that I weren't happy with myself.
That's probably been a little bit too overcritical, I think, though. If somebody's running in front of you, there's not really a great deal you can do about that.
In those situations.
But I mean, I was after that game, I didn't do another Premier League game for 8 weeks. So they obviously, I mean, my assessor had really heavily criticised me, and I had to take it to the management, and they agreed that they were out of order, but they left me off the Premier League for about 8 weeks after that game.
Yeah.
Was it a case of the player running across you just not being a good enough excuse, not good enough reason? To be fair, Sky was covering the game, and they actually put it up, and as soon as the challenge went in, the player was right in front of me. And if you can imagine he's like him, you're not going to see nothing, are you?
I'm sure there weren't many players at Newcastle at the time that like.
But no, it was. As the change went in, it was impossible. It's like trying to see through a brick wall. So I looked at my performance and thought, should I have got myself wider before the ball had gone through? But the thing was, players let you know when there's bad challenges, didn't they?
Yeah.
And there was nothing.
Surely your boss, which might have been Riley at the time, surely he's had the exact same situation.
Should understand.
Not if you don't like you.
Well, yeah.
Looking back, obviously, referees don't speak with the press. Would you have liked the opportunity to? Is that something that you think could have helped in terms of reputation? And when examples like that, you to explain to camera.
I done it once and I got annihilated. I think no, because we're not media trained. We're not media trained, and you know what the media are like. They jump on something, you say something, they jump, they twist and turn, and I've learned that. And I think if we were media trained, properly media trained, then perhaps yes. But every Premier League game, there's a delegate. So, and the delegate is appointed by the Premier League. So that delegate goes in and speaks about the referee's performance. It's either an ex-player, ex-manager, or an administrator of a football club. So they go in and talk about accuracy and decision-making, key match incidents and man management. and fitness. So they go in and talk to the referee after the game. So for me, they talk about the incidents, tell me how you saw that penalty in the 56th minute. So then they would talk about it. And then for me, what should happen is the delegate then should go and confront the media, like the managers do, and then speak on behalf of the referee, say, we've had this conversation, this is why he didn't give this decision.
Yeah.
And then that would help. But also with VAR now, I think it's important. Fans are just as important as anybody else in the game. And I think it's important that we hear the conversation between VAR and referee. So everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows what they're talking about and why they come to that decision. And then you may not agree with it, but you will respect the decision.
Do you know when you resettled in Bolton, and you were training at Bolton, were there any, when you're not allowed to manage QPR, so you must have a relationship with some of the people at Bolton, were you not allowed to manage? I keep saying manage ref. Were you not allowed to ref?
Yeah. So if you lived in that town or city, you weren't allowed to referee that team. So yeah, I mean, moved up to Bolton. I must have. I rang Sam and said, "Is it possible for me to come and train with you?" Because we were full time as well, and he said, "Yeah, not a problem." So I spent many good years there. Had some good fun.
It's a good place as well, isn't it?
Great place. Great place. That's where I met my wife. I put the Wanderers, but I call it the Reebok. It's not that now, is it? I know it as the Reebok, nothing else.
Pull on the charm after the game?
I did, yeah. I was refereeing a game up there against Tranmere, and I always went into the players' bar because that's where we got looked after with a cup of tea and a few sandwiches. And Michelle, she worked behind the bar, and I looked at her and I went, "Oh my God, she's gorgeous," and then never looked back.
What's your name? What's your name and number?
I'm not going to say what I was thinking, but you can guess.
Did you go over yourself, or did you get somebody to put a word in for you?
No, I just...
Your fourth official?
No,
It
was the lady who looked after us, Kathy, and I said, see if she fancies having a drink after the game. And she went up to us and said, the referee wants to take you for a drink after the game. She says, no. So I went back in afterwards, went up there to have a drink, and I said, can I take you out for a drink? I asked him myself. She said, okay.
Second opinion.
Finish about 7, VAR. And so I waited for her, and then we went back to her local pub, and we had a drink, and that was
Never looked back.
Never looked back.
I knew you were full time, but obviously you just trained yourself. Did you ever fail for motivation? Think, I can't really be fucking arsed today.
The best position for that.
No, I think not really. I always loved training from a 16-year-old when I got turned down. I was at Tottenham as a schoolboy, a couple of years. Then I went into non-league, and Hertford Town was my first club as a 16-year-old. I used to love training, love running. I think that came later on in my career after I'd battled, me, myself and my wife battled cancer. Having radiotherapy, chemotherapy, and I think, I spent 3 seasons refereeing after I came back from cancer, and it was then that my body started to shut down, and it was then I was thinking, do you know what, I can't be arsed going out second half. I just got no motivation. I just can't. My body just kept telling me, no, Mark, you can't put it through, because obviously the poison stays in your body. It does stay, the chemo just stays in you, because it kills everything in your body, the chemotherapy. And I think, what I'd done to get myself back to fitness and pass fitness tests just took its toll on me, on my body.
I wanted to ask you about that. But you got your diagnosis, and were you always determined that I'm going to come back?
I think it was my professor, Tim Millage, who was from the Christie. I was at the Christie. I had an operation for the tumour removed at the Beaumont, Charlie New Road, as you will know it. And I had it taken out. And I always remember when I woke up from the operation, I said to the guy that did the operation, I said, first things you always say is, am I going to die? And he said, not if I can help it. And within 5 days, my tumour grew back. So that's when I went to the Christie and saw Tim Millage. I couldn't go and see him because he was on holiday. He was a big Evertonian. He loved his football. And and he knew who I was. Come back, I went straight in to see him, and I said to him, I had some scans, had the scans, then went to see him, and he got me the next day straight on chemotherapy, and then obviously I'd done all that, and then I had to have radiotherapy. But I said to him, I remember saying to him, will I be able to referee again? And he said, no, you would never. If you don't survive, if you survive, you will never ever referee at the highest level again. And there was lots of tears in. So
I've got to hear that. Was it a year that you actually passed your test, your fitness test?
And then that was my motivation to go out and be an inspiration to people that have suffered cancer and battling cancer. Because I think it's now, is it 2 in 3 now? I mean, in 2 in 3 in families, I think. Mm-hmm. Well, it was 2 in my family, my wife and myself.
And you're going through this together?
Going through it together. She was diagnosed first in January 2009. Well, it was just before. It was Christmas Eve when she went, and they found out she had leukemia, and then she had to go straight to hospital after the Christmas period, and then that's when we found out that she had chronic myeloid leukemia. And I remember refereeing at Hartlepool, FA Cup 3rd round. It was before she went back to the hospital to go have her checks. And I always remember thinking about, we knew that she had leukemia, and I was refereeing that game that day, and it just, my mind wasn't on the. I mean, nothing happened on the game. I remember fans shouting at me and calling me all sorts, and all I was thinking about was Michelle, who's, we've got a 3-year-old daughter. She's got leukemia. She's been diagnosed with leukemia, and then August, I get diagnosed as well. So it was very tough, and always and when he said I'd never referee again, I thought I'd be that inspiration, and I worked so hard. I always remember failing. He said to me, "You're coming back too early. Your body can't take it. Your body can't take it."
Did you feel like yourself, like personally?
Yeah. When I took my first fitness test, I thought I was ready, and I wasn't. I didn't last 1 minute, and I remember at the track crying my eyes out, going home, and the first person I rang was Tim Millage, and he said, "What have I told you? What have I told you?" And I listened to him, and I got home, and my wife had booked a trip to we went to Gran Canaria just to get me away, and I spoke to the physio, the sports scientist at Bolton, and he done me a program, and I'd done that every morning. I was up at like 7 o'clock in the morning doing his training program every day, doing that. We were supposed to be on holiday, but my wife, she was brilliant, and going through it herself, So she helped me, because she used to give me that kick up the arse that I needed instead of sitting down in the doldrums. So you'd have the chemotherapy, and you'd be right rock bottom. I'd come home, because I remember having my first bout, and I struggled, and I felt really bad, and they had to come in and put me on masks on me, because
at the same time trying to support your wife.
Yeah, my body didn't accept the chemo, and then after that I was okay. But I remember coming home and just lying on, so I couldn't do anything, and gradually you start climbing that hill, and you get to the top of the hill, and then you have that next bout of chemotherapy, and then you're back down again. So after I had these 8 bouts of chemotherapy, I had phone calls from people from within football, were fantastic. Then I had to start that 24 days of, I think it was solid radiotherapy, which was a killer. But with that, I then started coming back, because he said if you carry on doing cardiovascular work during that time, it improves your chances of survival. So I was going into Bolton doing even 30 seconds on the treadmill, and I couldn't, 30 seconds and I was off, I was finished. I mean, Bolton Wanderers were brilliant with me, absolutely fantastic. And I remember going back in, and I think to myself, am I ready now to do this? And I remember doing the second fitness test, and I failed again miserably, and I was meant to do my third one. And on the day, our general manager come and said to me, "Listen, you've taken 2 tests. If you take the third one and fail, that's it. You're finished." What? Well, they wouldn't let me come do training because I wanted a second opinion. Although Tim Millage had given me the all clear. I remember when he said, Mark, we had scans. He said, Mark, it's a miracle. You can't. It's gone. It's gone. So there was lots of tears then, but happy tears,
Yeah.
But going back to that, and when he said, if you'll be finished, and I went, what? And I went to our sports site and I said, Simon, I said, listen, I'm not doing this test today. I said, because if I fail, I've been told that's my career finished. And he said, Mark, he said, no, it's not. He said, when you started the season, you passed your fitness test. You passed. So don't take any notice of what you've been told. I'm telling you now, you'll be fine. Because I always remember doing my fitness test, and I had this tumor, I had something in my throat, but I didn't know what it was. But I couldn't eat. I lost about 10 kilos in weight, but I've passed my fitness test. But I was really struggling, and before I refereed Tottenham and Barcelona at Wembley in the Wembley Cup, and after that I went back to Spain. Then we came back and went to see the doctor and say, right, because we had private healthcare. Right, going for a scan. Went for a scan, and that's when it was revealed. The day before, I refereed Everton and Arsenal at Goodison. So I knew on the Monday I was going in to have a tumour removed, and I thought, this is it.
It's coming my last game.
But looking back, I should never have refereed that game. I should never, ever have refereed that game because I was in no fit state to referee that game. Shouldn't have done it. But I had two great assistants, Trevor Massey and Andy Garrett were on the line, and they helped me. I remember them, I nearly collapsed at the end of the game, and I said, lads, just get here. But I told him. I didn't tell anybody else. No one else knew. Except my management was Keith Hackett, and it was brilliant. Left it up to me, and I went and done the game. But looking back, I should never have refereed. I should never have done the game. But I did, and luckily for me, it was live on TV. Nothing. It was no controversy. So I was happy. But on the Monday, I was in the Beaumont having the tumour removed.
Yeah.
But
you talk about the inspiration.
But then coming back from that. Doing that fitness test. So I done it. Simon gave me the confidence to go out and do that test. Yeah. And to be fair, Mark Clattenburg done it with me. He was a good mate of mine. Even though one year we went we had a week away every season doing a week away fitness test. We went paintballing. I bent over. He stuck the gun right up my and it fucking hurt. I went fucking ballistic. But we made up, and that did fucking. I had a great big fucking mark on my arse. But listen, he was a good mate. He done the fitness test with me,
just to support you,
to support me. And without him, I wouldn't have done it. And I just collapsed at the end, and then I got back in that end of that. Towards the end of that season, I started refereeing. I'd done a few reserve games, and I got back. I refereed at the Rotherham game. Ronnie Moore left me a lovely message in the dressing room. Lovely message. Got a great standing ovation going out.
How did you feel when you were stood in the tunnel, though, before your first game?
Yeah.
After you'd gone through what you went through?
Emotional. It was,
Yeah. You talk about inspiration. I imagine people that could resonate and going through that at the same time, and seeing you then walking out.
I did. I mean, obviously my wife was there. My good friend Howard Webb, he came to the game as well, and with my daughter. It was fantastic. Yeah. And obviously Lucy, you've seen Lucy today. She was like 4 years of age, knowing that her mum and dad are battling a serious illness. So it was difficult for her as well. But she's very proud of her. She's very proud of what she's turned out to be.
Do you feel as though you think you got not an easier ride, but you think people were like crowds, players, were they different with you when you come back?
They were different with me listen, they were going. No, I mean once I got on that pitch and crossed that white line,
I was like one referee,
and that's how I wanted it.
Yeah,
and that's how it should be. But battling in, they were great. Lots of the players, lots of the managers. I remember going to a game, Bolton Wanderers, and Arsenal. I was in the tunnel at the Reebok, so I know I call it the Reebok. It's not the Reebok anymore, but that was me, bald as a coot, going through, I had not a hair on my body. And Arsene Wenger, all the players were coming. Arsene Wenger come straight to me. Didn't want to know, shook my hand, didn't want to know how I was. He said, how's your wife, Mark? Is she well? I said, oh, yeah, she's doing okay. She's here today, actually, up in the players' bar. He said, take me to her now. So there I was walking Arsene Wenger up to the Bolton Wanderers players' bar, and in walks Arsene, and everybody just looked and couldn't believe that Arsene had come up into the players' lounge, took him straight to my wife, Michelle, and he had a full-blown conversation with Michelle regarding her. And that goes to show, see, people don't see that side of managers.
The human side.
Human side of it. And they all are all like
side.
that. But, to shove a mic in front of a manager after perhaps a decision's gone their way or a player decision's gone their way, they're totally different.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't think they should be doing that straight after the game. But that's what the TV companies want, and that's what they get. But outside of football, outside of that 90 minutes, you see different side of people.
I remember the stuff. Was it when you sent Shelby off?
Yes, John Joe Shelby, at Liverpool, Man United, yeah.
And what was the
blaming me for sending John Joe off for that challenge? I suppose if you look back on that and you look back, you think, because both players went in. It was Johnny Evans and John Joe. I remember John Joe in the first minute. He went through a United player, and you could argue it was a caution. But in those sort of games, you can't go straight in for a yellow card in the first few minutes because you're going to have a hatful. You've got to manage those games. And I remember getting stick off me evaluation saying I should have cautioned, but you can't. You treat every game the same. I remember United players were going ballistic, saying that's a yellow card. I said, just get away. I will deal with it. And I spoke to John Joe. I've called him and said, listen, John, any more, and you're going to get caution. You're going to get sanctioned. So 5 minutes later, Patrice Evra went through one of the Liverpool players. And Stephen Gerrard got on well with Stevie. He come around, he said, that's a fucking yellow card, that's a fucking caution, Mark, come on. I said, Stevie, what about John Joe's over there 5 minutes earlier? Did I caution him? No. So what's the difference between the two challenges? That's 1-1. Let's get away. Okay, Mark, fine, no problem at all. But then the next challenge I said to him, any more challenges like that, then I will start dishing out the other cards. I'll give you a chance. I don't want to see any more of those sorts of challenges. And to be fair, the game was a really good game. But on that, let's say that the fallout from that game on social media was horrendous for myself and my family. But listen, I can take it. I can, to reach the top level, you've got to be mentally tough, mentally strong.
Was that a different level though?
Absolutely. Especially when they wanted my young daughter to die of cancer, my wife's cancer to come back and die, and there's a bullet waiting for you. And listen, we can take it, but when it starts impacting on your family, that's not right. And I know the police got involved; they've done a great job, and a couple of people got interviewed, and was one of the guys lived up in the northeast. He was going to lose his job over it. And I remember speaking to his boss and saying, listen, look, don't sack him for that. He's got a family. And to be fair, he wrote me a long letter. I got the letter apologising. You don't know what come over him. His gran had been suffering from cancer. And I accepted that apology. But, you've always got to forgive. You've got to forgive people. And but listen, that's part of that. That's social media today, isn't it? There's many keyboard warriors that need sorting out. But that's the world we live in today, isn't it?
What year did you release your book?
Was it 2013? 2000.
Just after you retired?
Yeah.
Did you expect the backlash from people within the referee?
Listen, you're always going to get things, aren't you?
Am I right in saying did you have to give up a severance pay to release the book?
I didn't have to give it up. I agreed if I wrote this book with then Chairman Peter Hurd, I would still receive my pay, even speaking with Keith Hackett, because Keith wasn't in charge then, but went through Keith because Peter Hurd was still in charge, and he agreed that I could still have my severance. But then it got stopped. Move on. Listen, it's all gone now. Water under the bridge, and you move on, don't you? You move on.
Would you like to be a referee now?
Yeah, listen. Especially with VAR, I think it's easy now, isn't it? You know, it's easy.
Fucking hell, they don't fucking make it look easy. Jesus fucking Christ.
Listen, it's VAR. It's there for the clear and obvious errors, and it's at the present it's so inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get. It's human error, isn't it? I think it's referees trying to re-referee. And when we saw incidents last season that VAR should never have got involved in, never.
And whose fault do you think that is?
I think it's the previous management. I think it's the training, the education, no leadership and direction, which I think will be different with Howard in charge now. Definitely.
He seems like he's well respected amongst
absolutely.
other refs.
Listen, me and Howard, we go back many years. We've been out together. You know, he's been my fourth, I've been his fourth. Talk sense. It's not always about the laws of the game. You know, it's about managing situations, and we've been in contact. You know, text messages and other things. So
he's fronted a few things up, hasn't he? Which is unlike.
He has, but you can only front up so many times, can't you? So it'd be interesting to see next season, you know, the leadership and direction, the standard of officiating and VAR, and I think Howard will, you know, bring that leadership and direction to the select group.
You said you got on with a few managers. Which one would your favourite to have a glass of wine with?
Listen, look, I got on with many managers. Always invited back in. All the managers, to be fair. Even Neil Warnock got on well with. I had a few run-ins with Neil.
A few ding-dongs.
A few ding-dongs with Neil. He was good. I remember refereeing at Bramwell Lane against Reading. It was both going for promotion. Sheffield United 1-0 up. Paddy Kenny, good friend of mine. 91st minute, Reading player goes round Paddy. Paddy brings him down. Penalty. Paddy just gets up, knows he's a penalty, walks onto his line. Neil Warnock starts running down the touchline, coming to have a go at me. I turn round to walk back and look at him, and he does a U-turn and runs straight down the tunnel.
Never said a word.
Never said a word. So anyway, after the game, we gets into the dressing room, and there's a knock at the door. I thought, who's that? That's got to be. Come in. I'm Mark, Neil Warnock. Can I come in? No, you can't, Neil. You're not coming in. I only want to tell you what a good game you've had, Mark. In you come, Neil. In you come. And it was great. Yeah, it was great. And then the following season, because those two teams got promoted, and I was refereeing at Reading, the Majeski, Reading, Sheffield United. The game was going well. I mean, it was second half, game had stopped, ball went out of throw, and he wanted to make a substitution. So there'd been a little bit of argy-bargy between Wally Downs and Neil Warnock, because they didn't like each other. And anyway, so there's a substitution, and I was telling Paddy about this, and he goes, I forgot about that. So he brings on Keith Gillespie. So anyway, Keith Gillespie comes on, and before we've had a chance to restart play, Keith Gillespie's gone in front of Steve Dunn and gone, bang! Game's not even started. So I've issued substitutions. Keith Gillespie's come on, and I've spoke to the assistant. I'll give him a red card.
Red?
A red, yeah, for straight away. Not even game ain't restarted. I'll give him a red card for an elbow. And then as he walks off, he hits him again. I mean, what the fuck's going on here? So, and then that goes off, and then Wally Downs and Neil Warnock start coming together, having a bit of a dust up. So then I'll send them two, put them in the stands. And I was talking to Paddy a couple of weeks about it, and he said, Neil Warnock told him to get on the pitch and do Keith Gillespie. Do Stephen Dunn. So but he said, I didn't mean that quick. So there we go. I've got two players sent off and two managers in the stand, and I didn't even restarted the game.
Yeah.
Were there any other...
But then going back with Neil, I mean, obviously, I refereed Leeds and Millwall Leeds at Millwall, and that was, I mean, they were always tough games. I remember refereeing the playoff semi-final at Ellen Road, with Leeds and Millwall, And that was a tough game, tough game. But then going back to this game at the Den, I sent one of the Leeds players off for an elbow. He felt he should have had a penalty. It wasn't a penalty. And I blew the final whistle. And all the Leeds players, all the players come up to me, Mark, great game, excellent game, well done, Paddy, come up. Because me and Paddy always used to have a laugh. Because I used to train with him at Bury when he was at Bury as a young lad. And of course, all of a sudden, Neil Warnock's come heading for me, belting up, coming up and says, hey, lads, get a fucking way. Don't fucking shake his hand. He's a fucking,
C-bomb.
Yeah, I'm not saying that word. He's a fucking cheat. Get away. Don't shake his hand. And all of a sudden, I've gone, you fucking what? I've gone, and the lads have gone, Mark, calm down.
They're holding you back.
There are times where, listen, referees are human. We want to fucking smack people as well. Do you know what I mean? But, so with that, I'm absolutely seething. So I've gone down the tunnel. There's this big bouncer on the door, and I just said to him, do not let fucking Neil Warnock come in my dressing room, because he's going to come in. I said, because if he does, you've got my permission to give him one. having a laugh. And anyway, guess what happens? 10, 15 minutes, knock on the door. Bouncer opens the door. He said, Neil Warnock here wants to come in. I said, what did I tell you? Okay, Mark, no problem at all. You'll do for me. Wouldn't even let him in. So gets in the bus. I'm still seething. So I gets in the bus, and there's something I've never ever done. Straight on the phone to the FA about what happened. He said, I phoned up the chap. He said, hello, Mark, you don't normally ring us up, but this time I said, listen, I'm absolutely freaking steaming. Neil Warnock, told him what had happened. He said, put it in a report and we'll deal with it. So I put everything that happened in the report. I wouldn't generally do it, but I was just seething, and especially after coming back.
Did you go straight into the report? Like,
no, when I got home, straight up, I got straight home.
Because you're running arms and legs.
So anyway,
a bit more frustration. You didn't sleep on it.
On Tuesday morning, it come up. Neil Warnock's been fined for unsporting comments towards the referee at Millwall, their game against Millwall Saturday. I went, oh yes. Anyway, but when I retired, because me and Neil's a great. I still speak with him now. He wanted me to come on his podcast, but I couldn't do it because I was working for the World Cup. And we worked at BT together. We went really well together, talking about referees and decisions on BT on a Monday night. And when he saw me, he came up to me and went, Mark, for fuck's sake, how comes you got me fined 2,000? How did I get that? What was that for? I said, no, because you were a fucking twat to me. That's why. And he went, okay, no problem. But he's a great lad, Neil. He's great. He wears his heart on his sleeve.
There's one player that we haven't mentioned. We've mentioned Bellamy, Michael Brown, but Robbie Savage.
Oh, Robbie. Oh, yeah, listen, what you see is what you get. I remember refereeing Villa v Blues Birmingham at Villa Park, massive. It was a Monday night live on Sky, and players don't like each other. And I mean, obviously they do now, but when you're on the pitch, and Dion and Robbie had already have a little bit of words with each other, and it was about 20 minutes into the game, and Dion's gone. He's gone straight through Robbie Savage, straight through him. No, that's a yellow card all day long. So Robbie gets up to confront him. Dion goes over to him. He goes, bang!
I think I can remember it.
Yeah,
I can remember it.
Ed bats Robbie, and I've gone, oh, well done, Dion. Robbie, you're a great lad. What you're doing for Max was brilliant. But that day, because he was a bit of a bugger to us. He was a bit annoying to us referees. Yeah. I went to Dion. Dion come to me and said, Mark, I'm so sorry. I said, no, I'm just sorry. I've got to send you off, Dion. Give him the red card.
I played with Dion at Norwich, and I asked him about it, and he went, I wish I did lay the nut on him. Apparently they get on well now. I think
they do, yeah, that's what happens.
I wish I did.
It was half. Well, he did catch him.
It was probably an orange.
Yeah, well, an orange card. Well, it was nothing.
I think it's a yellow and a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Cheers for that.
But he always has a go at me about that, to Dion. But no, as I say, you get on well. When you're on that shop floor.
Because if you're a twat of a player, and when you've got your bi-weekly meetings,
that's right. Yeah. But I never held grudges against players. I never held grudges against players or managers that sort of had a go at me.
Were it Robbie Savage that left the log?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's not going to go down well, is it, amongst the fraternity?
It did with some of us.
Who's dressing room will they log in? Or the referee or the referee of the day?
Oh, Graham Pole.
Jeff taught us that song, didn't he? So you're happy out there now, mate? You're doing what you need to do, living the dream?
Yeah, obviously still doing a bit of work for, obviously, the newspaper, and I think I've got a contract coming through, working, I think it's somewhere in Turkish TV on their referees. So, I'd like to be involved with our referees. I know I've spoke about it with Howard, but perhaps now's not the right time. We'll have to wait and see. So, I mean, I love football. I run a veterans team out here. Oliver Costa Veterinanos. Tough. It's still tough at veterans. It's a competitive league. It's now a county league.
Do you give the refs some shit?
Listen, it's difficult because it's difficult because they know I am, and sometimes they ask me to referee their big games, the semi-finals of the cup and big league games. But it's difficult because the refereeing is you think it's bad in the UK at grassroots. You should see it here, but I have to respect the referees, and I try to get my players to understand the Spanish way, and because when my players going for a challenge, it's an English challenge, and the Spanish, they just roll around as though they've been shot, and it's so annoying. Of course, the yellow card comes straight out.
So the all English lads that you've got.
Well, I've got a few English lads. I've got a few Spanish lads. I've got a couple of Romanian guys. I have to say, I have received a couple of cautions.
Have you?
I have, yes.
Oh,
I have.
Have a shit in the
No,
dressing room?
No, I have. I mean, we had one game, our centre forward. I mean, he's gone through clear on goal, and the guy at the centre half brought him down, and they've both gone down on the floor. My player's got up, and then this guy's rolling around with his arm. He leant badly on his arm, and the referee sent my player off, give him a red card. I went, brilliant. No one could understand why we sent him off. She's come running over to me, bang, yellow card. I went, okay, shut up, Mark.
Imagine what it's like for all those fans watching you fucking referee.
Hey, Tugboat, I never showed you a yellow, did I? Or a red.
Who's your, I'd probably say manager, player and referee, who's your favourite man in football?
I don't know, it's hard to say, really. I mean, you make lots of acquaintances. We don't make a lot of friends in football. Yeah, I mean, you both know. You've both been there. I think one of my best friends is Fred Barber. He's a goalkeeping coach at Bolton for many years, Northern Ireland. Now he's at Crewe. Great man, top man, and him and I would say Jimmy Martin, the kit manager at Everton as well. We get on. He's a great mate of mine. We've known each other ever since I got on the Premier League game to Everton. And it's like I say, you make friends. You do make good friends on the field. I still speak with David Moyes now and again at West Ham. I speak to Big Sam. Kevin Nolan. There's been many players that I've got on well with. All the top players. It's hard really to mention any player. I think one player that don't like me is Sol Campbell, because I sent him off a couple of times. I sent him off at Arsenal, Man United.
He deserved it though.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought, but he didn't, and Pat Rice didn't, and coming into my dressing room having a right go at me. One thing with me, I mean, I've had discussions in dressing rooms, but with managers, what goes on in my dressing room stayed in my dressing room. And I didn't know, but that sending off, he'd missed a cup final. I never thought about that. But obviously he missed the cup final, and then they weren't happy with me. And then I think the first or second game of the season, this was in April, and in August, where was I? At the old Highbury. Who was the captain? Sol Campbell. Bit of a frosty handshake together, didn't really want to talk to me. During the game, I said, Sol, listen, we've got to talk to each other, mate. Listen, what went on last season is gone. We've got to forget about that. 2 minutes later, I fucking sent him off again, didn't I? Oh my God.
Fuck you, Sol.
Would you believe we couldn't write the script, could you? And it was a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, which was correct. And then when then he was at Newcastle next, he wouldn't even talk to me. So I'm sorry, I apologise. Just one thing, going back to your question about favourite player, favourite managers, and whatever. I mean, a lot of people say to me, "What was my favourite game or my best game?" And when I look back, I refereed many games, and the biggest was when I made my comeback in the Premier League from my battle cancer, and I refereed Wigan and Blackpool. But then was 2 Premier League teams, and the standing ovation I got when I come out of that game was just unbelievable, and a game that I should never have been refereeing. I was there. So that game means more to me than any other game that I've refereed. Yeah, over the cup finals, me cap. I just thought I could be that inspiration.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I thought I would have got the cup final after that, just to show people, on the centre stage, here's someone that's battled and he's back and he's got come to the top level. Those that are battling cancer, listen, you can win this battle as well. So
get back to where you was before.
I had a couple of going back, I had a couple of red card bashes at Old Trafford, the cricket ground. Give cancer the red card, and there were sellouts. And the first one, Sir Alex Kane, Big Sam, David Moyes, then the Man City, the Italian Man City manager, Mancini, he was there as well. It was fantastic and then obviously there was a video played by Jose couldn't get there. There was a video played which was heartwarming, and then I done another one. The same managers all came, and it goes to show that you see that side of man. They didn't have to come and support me, and they did, and we raised a lot of money for the Christie, that wonderful hospital. So
thanks very much.
Thank you very much for having us, and
thanks for sorting this place out.
That's all right.
Coming on.
Yeah. Enjoy that.
Very much so.
Good, wasn't it?
The setting as well. We had a few Peronis. Just about coming round from getting called tugboat. 7-8 times in the first 5 minutes, you think? Matty's paid his fine.
Did you get your marching orders?
You got a red card?
He's got a red card.
A yellow, a caution.
Was it just a caution?
What did you do? Drop your keys or something? Oh, the camera. Oh, yeah. Remember, we had to stop halfway through because red light, camera were going to set on fire.
Oh, that's the heat. Fucking hell, eh? There's fucking one for you and all then, eh? There you go.
So he got a yellow card.
Out of nowhere. Just pulled his cards out. Brilliant.
Never noticed it, but...
So you got tugboat, you got Jeff Smith.
aye.
Chris Smith.
Chris Smith.
Oh, Tom Hanks over there. This is not Chris Smith, this is Tom Hanks.
It's happened a few times, that, isn't it?
Who else has it happened to? Oh, Johnny Hartson.
John Hartson.
That's your thingy in the live shows, that.
Yeah.
You use that, don't you?
His last goal, or your last goal?
His last thingy in football was setting me up for my only goal.
His last contribution in professional football
was laying it on a plate. Well, no, it was a good finish, actually. He didn't lay it on a plate.
And you...
They're all good finishes, Chris.
Telling us about it all the way to his house, and then he didn't recognise you.
Didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Thoughts on...
The tarantula.
I was just looking at it there thinking, what is going on?
I think it's do you know what? I'm always a bit thinking about, when people wear band T-shirts, but they're not into the band. And they just wear them because it's T-shirt. But I'll be honest, I have never seen the movie Tarantula. Just
like the T-shirt.
It does look nice, and with the tarantula's got the woman in its mouth. It looks class, doesn't it?
It's a classic, apparently.
Yeah?
But, yeah.
Like stretched now.
Well, it needed it, let's be honest.
A lot of your clothes are misshaped, aren't they?
Misshaped?
Now's probably not the best time to discuss this. Yeah, just like his shoulders are always...
Yeah, I have sleeves up here and...
Sleeves up?
I think it's because you do that a lot.
Yeah.
You get conscious about the...
It's because they're always just a bit too small.
It's pulling it off a fucking shop front, innit? That's why.
Are you all right?
Why?
Otherwise...
Yeah, I'm all right. Why?
Oh, here we go.
I saw this the other day and I got a little bit concerned about you. I'm part of a small group that run a very successful podcast and have been going for a number of years. The truth is, I hate the subject we talk about now, but I feel stuck due to the income.
Is it you?
Where's that?
So I just seen it online. I thought, is he?
Me? Fuck off.
No, we're asking, is it you?
No. I think you could be.
You're getting very defensive, isn't it?
Go red as well.
Maybe too much. Maybe too much of a reaction for it not to be in.
I thought somebody had been like moonlighted as me or something. I thought like you had my name on it or something.
I wonder what the subject is that they're pissed off about, whether Az wrote it.
No, I think it means football. He doesn't like football.
Oh yeah, it could be me. Yeah.
I actually got tagged in that as well, a couple of times. It's not
Where
me.
were it?
You actually panicked then.
I know. I thought I've had a moment. Like
Pissed off.
bottom of a whiskey bottle.
Mark
Good.
White next week, by the way.
Eh?
Mark White.
Oh, yeah. Got off to a sticky start, haven't they?
He's well, I don't we wouldn't want to give too much away, but he's adamant that he's not going to do his badges.
I love that though.
Yeah.
And fair play as well. Like he's managed the team from,
He owns the job lot. He can do what he wants.
but he's had all that success with no badges, and he's like, well, if we get promoted, I'm not doing my badges. But
Does that
I
tell
don't
you
want to
about
spoil
coaching
it.
badges?
Say that again.
What does that tell you about coaching badges? Really?
Ticking a box.
Yeah.
It's been nice.
Ticking a box.
I've never been left with questions which are coming like, I just need to know more about
It all.
you starting a football team.
Yeah. And obviously a very successful football team.
I like them.
Yeah, I did it all. Great.
From the ground up as well, just getting your mates together, and then to where they are today. It's
Great hospitality as well. Oh, there were sandwiches.
He's one of them though, and he's buzzing around like
Yeah.
because it's not just making a football team and getting some lads up, 11 lads on field. There's everything. He's got a ground there.
He was
got
actually
hospitality.
He was sorting out, as just before we
Sponsorship.
started. No, he was sorting out travel for an away game in a month's time. Speaking to the
Chief
chief
exec as well.
exec, saying, get in so-and-so hotel, check what they're like. And imagine that.
It'd just be a shed, wouldn't it? It'd just be like fucking
Surely you
chaos.
get to a point where you can't do all that. You've either got to concentrate on being a manager or
But is that why he's done so well? Because
he's
his
controlling
way.
it all from the ground up.
I suppose there's no pressure really, is there?
But then he was thinking about game next week, and then coach company's ringing you up. You know,
That'd be no
sorry,
good,
mate, we've only got a 22-seater. Right, hold on a minute.
That'd be no good, would it?
I forgot, lads. Bus isn't coming, I forgot. Fuck.
We're going to have quick cars.
Chuck your receipts in, I'll give you the money.
We've got to hold them away. Come on, lads. You're going to have to get it boot.
I knew there was summer. So, I'll tell you what you can do, lads. If you get 4 to a room, we'll be all right. I've not booked enough rooms. Just top to toe on that. We'll be fine.
I'm interested to hear what you think about the Newcastle assistant, Tyndall.
I've only seen photos. Is it? I just get the story straight. As they're winning 1-0, Liverpool down to 10, and he's shushed Klopp off, and they've got beat 2-1.
Oh, and Kloppy's pulled the shush back out again.
Has he?
Shushed him back.
Do you know what? He didn't.
Oh, did he not?
No. Somebody's doctored a picture and made Klopp do that.
Right.
You know, like Photoshop. And it's on every single newspaper. But it was just one Twitter account that's done it. And if you look, he's trademarked it. He has.
Put his logo on bottom.
So-and-so
somebody's arm.
pictures.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
I'm disappointed in that. I'm disappointed.
I think Eddie Howe's got to have a word with him.
Well, they've asked him about it and he said, well, we come as a pair. It's the way we always have done. I'm comfortable with how it is.
So he's obviously a bit of an arsehole, would you say?
No.
Who? Tyndall?
Yeah.
No, he's having a
does
bit of-
arsehole stuff.
No, I like it. He's bringing a bit of fun and games to the equation.
What I don't get is, you know, game's finished, opposition manager comes over, he's first to leave for the handshake before Eddie.
He probably wants to get off quick, doesn't he?
But you don't think it's become a running thing now? Like maybe it's a bit of a running joke between them. And
Maybe
it's just
it was.
like, because especially with all social media behind, like everybody's waiting for it to happen. And he's always getting his face in the pictures.
See,
and
I
everything.
think Klopp's got to go. Because they were late goals and all, weren't they?
Late-ish, yeah.
I think Klopp's got to go knee slide in front of their bench.
You know, Sir Alex Ferguson-esque. Really
So you're
fucking rub it
accusing
in.
him of being an
but that's
arsehole
what-
for a shush?
No.
And now you want Cloppyfoot do a knee slide like he's at a wedding?
I know 2 wrongs don't make a right, but retaliation is all right in them sort of circumstances. Yeah. So,
But if I'm an opposition manager,
you look a bit like him, you know.
he's a handsome bastard. Isn't
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And somebody did fuck him off. He's led for the handshake, and he's brushed it off and gone for Eddie first.
What,
Which
the
I
manager?
thought it's always done, isn't it?
Which is it a proper pat? Like just battered his hand away?
A dismissal.
Just he's going whoa off.
He's dismissed it, but it's just like a constant meme, isn't it? Because any picture, as the game's going on, you can just see suntan face in the background of every single picture, Newcastle related.
But I would have thought, if they've said that, but I would have thought Eddie would have said, look, just calm it down a bit again. It's a bit of unwanted
Wind it in a
publicity.
bit.
Yeah.
But maybe it takes the pressure off Eddie a little bit.
Well, that's
He just
an
gets
interesting
on.
point.
He just gets on with business.
But it seems to be the stuff that doesn't really matter. That just trying to get on camera and
Yeah.
that. What's funny?
What's Tindy up to today?
Tindy. oh, by the way, I've only fucking committed to getting boots there, Tanner.
Outfield.
Yeah.
Were you
Yes.
playing?
Have you got 90 in the locker? Joking apart.
What?
90 what?
90 minutes.
On a Sunday?
What time's kick off?
I don't know what time to kick off.
I'll tell you now. So it's Tommy. It's Red Day for Rio it is. At Ribchester. Ribchester Rovers.
I don't even know where Ribchester is.
Sunday, 10th of September.
What time's kick off?
Kick off 12 o'clock.
It's another one for dinner plated
What
up then.
time's lunchtime?
12:30, 1:15.
Are you going to... Do you put your tatey back in the oven or microwave?
You've got 45.
When our lass's dad
butter
does a
over
dinner,
there.
it comes plated up, the dinner there like that. So just put it in microwave, put my roasters
You
in.
put the whole lot in the microwave?
Yeah, why?
No, I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
You haven't got a microwave?
No.
I sent him some meal preps, like a thingy saying, they're delivered to your door, mate, 40 quid, $3.50 a meal. His reply was, do you have to put them in the microwave? And then I clicked on.
Have you not got a microwave? Why not?
Never had a microwave.
Please comment if you have not got a microwave,
I've never had a microwave.
because I don't think there's anybody else in the world that owns a house and
Doesn't
doesn't
have a
own a
microwave.
microwave.
Especially we've got 2 kids as well. You know what I mean? Your
But
beans
you don't need. You just put them on hob. I
It's just a staple.
Yeah, it just it promotes unhealthy eating.
So does that fucking chip pan that you keep putting on. But
That's
yeah,
why you get so many takeaways, though. If I
Because I
flip it on
can't
its
just
head,
make something quick.
you can't just put a $3.50 meal prep in.
so I've got 45. I've got 45 in, unless a muscle goes.
So if you're not doing out, 10th of September,
Who's
Ribchester.
Ribchester
Who's
Rovers
playing?
versus Spurs legends.
Who's playing?
Do you know
Let's have a look. Danny Graham, Jermaine Beckford, David Dunn, John Welsh, the big dog.
I'm not playing up from.
I'm surprised you're not on the poster, to be honest.
I know. So
He's not made the poster.
Late, I was a late
because
edition.
Tommy knows that I don't play football anymore, so he's had to ask me late.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff for the kids, food, drinks.
That's why. There won't be any kids coming if you're on poster. Are you not playing?
It's our Rota's birthday, so... And the last time I took him to one,
It's a fair excuse.
I took him to one at Chorley, I think, our Rotas, and he just wouldn't let us enter the pitch. He was going through a clingy phase. He was like, Dad, you're not playing.
Play him on your
Brought back
shoulders.
memories. I was just sat on the bench for the full 90. He wouldn't let us leave his
Brought back
side.
memories.
He was running around in his bumblebee suit.
So shall we get him in? Oh, it's outro, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to take some getting used to these. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, no, thanks everyone for listening. If you're not already involved with the Patreon, there's some coming thick and fast. And we've got some extra bonus ones now as well that we're putting out every now and
Been
again.
very well received, haven't
Yeah.
they?
Mm-hmm.
At home with the Koshes, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And if you've seen the film Tarantula, let us
Yeah.
know what it's like.
Yeah, let me know as
I
well.
want to know, did she survive? I'm really concerned for
She needs
this.
snookers, don't you?
I'm really
Looking at that.
concerned for this Doris here.
And if you're not subscribed on
Ah,
YouTube, give us a.
How far off? 100 are we?
I think we're very
We're an ant cock
within
off 100.
sniffing distance. Yeah.
So I massively
It's a
appreciate
subscribe
it.
if you're not already involved. Yeah.
Cheerio, Chuddle Pay.
Yeah.
Let's go get some dinner. I'm
Over and
starving.
out.